We Brits are a nation of compulsive collectors. Across the country, there are storage units crammed with clutter, bulging barns, and jam-packed garages.
Wow, you got a lot of stuff, Dad.
Home to dreams.
I haven't seen that for so many years.
Memories.
So who did this belong to then?
And excess baggage. And we're drowning in it.
You've got some stuff in here, haven't you?
But among the debris and disorder...
Heavens above, I've never seen so many rings.
My mission is to uncover the stories.
They were your grandmother's?
Yeah.
Find the hidden gems.
There's £1,000 there.
Crikey.
And turn the mess into money.
180, 190, 200.
First up is retired teacher Elsha Jones. After a lifetime of globe-trotting, she has accumulated a hoard of bits and pieces from across the world. Here to help is close friend Tracy. After 3.5 years, Elsha has racked up a storage bill of nearly £2,000.
I buried my head in the sand, to be quite honest. I just didn't know what to do.
Elsha lives in Sudbury in Suffolk. It's the birthplace of the artist Thomas Gainsborough, whose landscape paintings inspired John Constable.
I need some help for physical reasons, you know, one thing, you know, manpower.
Elsha found new love a few years ago when she married her old friend John. After moving into his house, she put all of her own home contents into storage as a short-term solution.
I was hoping within 2 or 3 months to get it all sorted. But 2 and 3 months became a year, 2 years, 3 years. I think I'm in for a few surprises when I unpack, definitely.
Elsha, now in her 80s, was raised in the Dutch East Indies. Her belongings and storage reflect her family's colonial heritage.
A lot of stuff is from Indonesia. We were all born and raised in the Far East. The war broke out and Japan took over and we were all interned. We literally had to abandon the house, so we were in camp the whole of the war. After that, we were repatriated to Holland after the war was over. I shall certainly be reminded of my colourful past, as my kids call it.
That vibrant past is clogging up space in the present. Her pal Tracy knows this all too well and wants Elsha to change her hoarding ways.
I get upset when she says to me, oh, I need to sort this out, but nothing's actually getting sorted out. It's all got a story to it, and I think that's why she can't just get rid of it.
And if there's cash to be made from the clutter, what would Elsha do with it?
If I do make any money out of it, be it small or big, it definitely will go towards my living group here. It's in desperate need of redecorating. We're afraid to take the wallpaper off. We definitely need doing it, and that's where it will be spent.
Elsha, it's time for you to face your hoard. But can close friend Tracy convince you to empty it out?
So, Elsha, how are you feeling about this?
Mixed feelings.
Yeah?
Thrilled in one way that we're doing it.
Yes.
You know. I'm shaking.
Da-da-da, let's see what's in there. Oh, golly, lots and lots of boxes.
Yes,
lots
I
of
have
boxes.
managed to box it all
Yes.
as much as I could, you know.
So, should we get it out?
Shall I lift for you? Tracy's my muscles. Look at her. She just
Oh, my
picks it up.
goodness.
I know.
She's a country girl.
And she carries it straight upstairs.
Wow, Tracy. Oh, she's going to be very helpful today.
Elsha boxed up her entire house very quickly before marrying John. Now it's time to clear it all and work out what she needs in her new life.
I don't know until I unpack it.
I know, that's the trouble. I'm worried about you. I am worried about you.
My birdhouse. I was going to buy another one. Didn't even know I had it.
There's another one on the top.
Is there? Right. Now that we're getting this stuff out, are you thinking you'll actually be able to do this? Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Next up are small business owners Jackie and Stephen Matthews. Their hoard is at home. For 13 years, they've been accumulating stuff in their garage. It's packed to the brim and they desperately need to declutter.
We have to sort our hoard now or it'll just get bigger and bigger.
They live just outside Chichester in West Sussex. It's home to some of the oldest buildings in Great Britain, and people have been living in this county since the Stone Age.
I think you just accumulate things and think, well, we'll sort it out one day, but we just never have the time to sort it out.
That's because Jackie and Stephen run a busy promotional goods company from home.
So I got an order today for a charity event. It's 500 sun visors and 1,000 sweatbands.
All right, excellent.
They have years of unused goods from their business cluttering their garage, along with all their family paraphernalia.
It would be impossible to list everything in there. No way.
And Stephen's fed up with the garage being a dumping ground.
I am a Libran. I weigh things up and then I'm very decisive. My wife would tend to say that it just means I never actually come to a decision, so we shall see.
And what would Jackie do if they sold their stuff?
I think we would use the money to probably treat ourselves to something for all the family, because we haven't had a proper holiday since June 2011. Even if it's just a long weekend away somewhere hot for a while, or we might do some more renovations to the house.
These busy business people haven't got 5 minutes to empty their store. I need Libra and Stephen to do more than weigh it up, and Jackie to take time out to tackle it head on. I've decided to call in Tracy Martin, an expert in antiques and collectibles. I hope she can find some diamonds among the dust.
It's time to open up the doors and take a peek inside.
OK.
Wow.
Yes, it's quite packed full.
Looks like lots of interesting things, though, guys, but also quite random things as well. You can't hold on to everything, can you?
No.
Please tell me, why have you got a box of brand new T-shirts just sitting at the front?
When somebody wants to order some green shirts, we might get 5 different sizes. So, you know, yes, this has still got the label on and, you know, it is brand new. So it does mean that rather than throw it away, we think, well, somebody else might ask for a green shirt. So...
And how often do you get asked for green shirts?
Not very often.
And how many green shirts have you got sitting in this garage?
Probably quite a few.
So you don't really need them all, do you?
No. Got towels.
And how long have
sorts
these
of
been
things.
sitting here for?
Accumulated over the last 13 years.
Yes.
Right, OK. Quite a long time, really.
Yes.
Jackie and Stephen seem to have gathered a hodgepodge of old business stock that they need to get shot of.
Get rid of as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear your space, clear your mind. There you go.
Well, that didn't take long.
We'll start with your golf packaging.
Right,
So if you just pop that outside for me, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
This is all sort of caps and, again,
Caps and- yeah.
guys,
Stop it.
why?
I think Tracy is going to find it difficult. This garage has more than a decade's worth of work clutter. Jackie and Stephen make money from this stuff day in, day out. How can they throw these goods away?
How many red umbrellas does a person need?
Not. It might rain.
You could set up a stall outside, couldn't you?
Coming up, for Elsha, the storage sparks up raw memories.
That's in the past now.
Can Stephen actually part with anything?
You always got to keep an oily rag.
And at auction, things are getting tense.
220, 240.
I feel in a state, I don't know how you're feeling.
We're tackling the hoards of 2 couples who have become overwhelmed by their storage. Earlier, I took retired teacher Elsha Jones under my wing, supported by close friend Tracy. Elsha put her belongings into storage after moving in with her husband 3 years ago. It's the first time she's opened up her unit, yet Elsha's determined to clear it.
Are you intending on emptying the unit today?
Yes.
Okay, nothing's going back in.
No.
You're stopping it now?
No.
Okay.
Then there are the Matthews, Jackie and husband Stephen. They have 13 years worth of clutter to clear. It doesn't help that they've mixed up the spoils of their home-based promotional business with all their personal stuff.
Oh, look, zebra print goes in my coat.
Our hoarders need some help, so I've assigned some areas. Keep is for the items they can't do without. Sell is for the stuff of value they don't want. Skip for the stuff they should tip. And charity for objects that will benefit a good cause. Later, our antiques experts will sift through the storage to find items of value. But first, I've brought in some hard help to move their boxes to a bigger space. Once laid out, Elsha's possessions promise a fascinating window into her past travels. While Jackie and Stephen have done an excellent job at clearing the hoard from their garage, now they've just got to clear their driveway. First up, it's Elsha.
Oh my God. Ah, Tracy, here we are.
Well, Elsha, what are you going to do?
Well, I suppose we have to unpack some boxes to see what's in there. This, it's my grandmother's, but I have no room for it.
What is it?
It's a sewing cabinet. You can pull that out, you see, where you put sewing material all that. And here, you know what these are?
Bobbins.
That's right.
What are you going to do with this, Elsha? Would you like to keep it?
No.
Or it goes?
No, this definitely goes.
Good start, but still so much to do.
I've got some silver in
Okay,
there.
can I have a look at that?
Yes. That's Jogja silver.
So what's the story? Where did it come from?
It's all stuff from Indonesia. My
Yeah.
father he was born there. My mother was born there.
Because it's a Dutch colony.
Yeah, Dutch colony. And my father was in forestry.
Ah, right.
And then the war broke out. Mm-hmm. And I was about 9. We were going to lose everything, really, because we were interned.
That must have been so frightening.
Yeah, it wasn't very nice. I don't like to enlarge on it, but we were one of the lucky ones. So my mother had a lot of stuff here, and she handed it all to the servants and said, take whatever you want out of the house, because we were all thrown into a train.
Goodness.
So,
Oh, Elsha.
anyway, that's in the past now. But the nice thing about this is that years later, we were repatriated to Holland. Anyway, my father went back and he was presented with 2, 3 big boxes. They had buried this stuff and gave it back. So Mum kept it and I got it, you know. I can't keep it anymore. I've offered it to the kids and they don't want
it.
But I think if I have it valued and just see, you know.
Yes.
Opening some of these crates has brought back difficult wartime memories for Elsha. She's never been back to Indonesia, and sorting through these mementos has helped her to let go of her past. And Elsha's now determined to move as much into the sell pile as possible.
This came back by my father when he went back.
Is it a keep or a sell?
Out.
Out.
I think
Sell?
so. Yeah, so that
Okay.
can go with that.
Elsha,
Yeah?
what are these?
I thought you'd broken it. These are grandmothers.
They were your grandmothers?
Yeah. These are antique glasses. They are so thin.
I love that colour. I love the shape. I love the fineness of them.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in selling these, do you
Yes, I
think?
think so.
The glasses intrigued me, so I've sent Elsha off to meet Nigel Benson in London. He's a respected dealer, author and collector in glassware with over 4 decades of experience.
What can you tell me about them?
They
How
are
long
my
have you had them?
grandmothers.
Right.
Yes. And Then my mother had them, and then they were handed down to me so
Well,
far.
what I can tell you is that I believe they're German.
Yeah.
They're from around about 1890 to probably to the First World War.
Okay.
And you can tell because the stem is fairly intricate. You have these plain pronts on the top, and the colour is typically German, in my opinion.
Well, it's possible. You know, my granddad, he was from German descent, so obviously that's
there
where
we go.
it happened, yeah.
There's still plenty of scope for collecting glassware, particularly the work of lesser-known designers from the major historic factories in the UK. It wasn't until a series of exhibitions in the mid-30s that cut glass was introduced to a wider audience. Like silverware, cut glass still has a rather old-fashioned image, conjuring visions of the over-decorated Victorian age.
They're probably more popular on the continent than they are in this country, which I suppose brings me on to the value of your glasses. Now, if these were individual glasses, frankly, in this country, you'd be shocked that they could be as little as £10 each, and I've seen them for less. However, given that you've got a set of 8, and they're all in good condition, certainly you'd be thinking of doubling that, so they'd be £20 each, so it takes you to 160. And it would be nice to think that you might get up to £200.
Definitely.
But it'd be more favourable on the continent.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Giving me some food for thought. I'm a bit worried because their set doesn't look identical, but to him, as an expert, he said because they're hand blown, that's how they are. It just depends how people look at it, so it's a hit and miss.
That can be true with many antiques. It's certainly been a lesson for Elsha. Now it's time to muscle in on the Matthews and their 13 years of storage. Unlucky for some.
Oh, wow. That's kind of scary. Right, where should we start?
It starts off well.
They're a bit tatty.
This is going to be difficult.
But it seems Stephen's indecisive nature is looming large on proceedings here.
We don't need these anymore, do we, these?
No, I think, well,
What?
well, whenever builders do any work, they say, oh, have you got a bit of that skirting board? So that's why I always keep a bit of skirting board.
Right.
But I'm sure we could just start,
Yeah, but look
throw
at
it
that
out.
bit.
No,
That's
just,
not going to be
just throw
used
it.
to anybody.
Right, what am I?
Stephen?
And that was off the boat. You always got to keep an oily rag.
No, we're not keeping them.
Oh, I can't. I am attached to it. So I can see grandchildren playing cricket on the lawn, you know.
At this stage, Stephen, it would be better to see a clear driveway. But there's 13 years of clutter here with some curious finds. There must be something serious to sell among this storage. Hopefully, our expert Tracy can sniff it out.
How are we getting on?
We seem to be winning, I think.
We've whittled it down a bit. It's been a bit tough, but it's, yeah, good.
And Stephen's OK, he's letting things go.
Yeah, I've had a few wobbles.
And so I'm going to help you have a little rummage. Jackie, what are these?
Oh, yeah, they're
beautiful.
Yeah, they're Valentine cards. Well, yeah, most of them are Valentines. My father was an antique dealer. It was a big collection, you know, made, and just nice thing to collect, really, yeah.
Yeah, they're really lovely. They're handmade.
Yeah.
So somebody has painstakingly,
Yes.
lovingly
sort
of put these together with, the, you know, sort of all this piercing work and the silk flowers and the little rhymes.
Yeah, yeah.
Really
It's amazing.
lovely. Quite often these do sell at auction. They don't make huge amounts of money. Really lovely things. I think, yeah, maybe we should put them to one side for now.
It's the final push. Our couples are against the clock to get all their items sorted. So far, I'm surprised how well Jackie and Stephen have done after being bogged down by all that promotional work clutter.
We're nearly there, I believe.
Is there a holiday in here somewhere, though? Elsha and Tracy have also been determined to clear their hoard.
That's to sell, yeah.
I love the single-mindedness of both our couples.
We're so close now.
It seems all they needed was a bit of encouragement.
So,
Yeah, I think we're there.
Time's up. Keep, skip, sell or charity are the piles in place. First, Elsha's keep pile looks way too healthy. That's what you get when you've not seen your hoard for over 3 years. At least she's getting rid of some items. I'm most impressed at Elsha and Tracy's sell pile though. For the Matthews, over a decade of storage, and it's great they're keeping so little. They're skipping lots and charities will certainly be overwhelmed. Coming up, Elsha's Dutch colonial heritage from the Far East fires up our expert.
We've got an amazing collection of wonderful items here.
And there's some nail-biting times at auction.
19,
We're hot on the heels of 2 hoarders. The goal? To kick their storage into touch. Elsha Jones and close friend Tracy are on a mission to clear her tidy but well-travelled hoard. And Jackie and Stephen Matthews are the opposite. Chaos reigns with their garage. It's time for antiques expert Perry Field to search through Elsha's items. I hope he'll find some treasures to captivate him.
We've got an amazing collection of wonderful items here. It's brilliant.
Well, for choice, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. These are amazing. I mean, they're obviously printing blocks. They're heavy, they're made of metal.
they're used for batik.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes, okay. And would that be
printing.
printed on fabrics?
Yes.
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 Okay, well, I think they're lovely. They're really unusual. What they're worth, I mean, they're a bit of an anomaly, really, but I think they're very decorative, and I think they're still very usable. Over here, we've got this work table,
Yes.
and it's lovely. It's a flame mahogany. I know one of the hinges is broken. It needs a little bit of work.
Tiny.
Lovely barley twist legs and stretcher. Victorian, still very usable. People like them, and of course you can store bits and pieces inside them. And I think it will do very well.
Yeah.
Our next item, we've got this tantalus. And I'm sure you know why it's called a tantalus.
Yes, I do.
You do, because it's to tantalise, and the whole idea was to lock the booze away, as it were, so that the staff couldn't get their hands on it. You've got not the original key.
No, I had that made too.
Yes, but it works. Flips back and then one can pull the bottles out quite easily. And it's very nice. Moving on, the painting at the front. You know about the artist, don't you?
Her name is Sue Wall, and she specialises on houses and cats.
But she's not from these shores, is she?
No, she's American. She's American, yes.
I think auction-wise, I don't think she's reached these shores in terms of value. And I think it actually would probably do better being sold in America. But even here, I mean, 80 to 100 pounds all day long. I mean, it's a great painting. It's beautifully done. And I would happily buy that at auction.
It's a thing to consider.
OK, now we've got this haul of silver. I mean, there's a wonderful selection here. But I also understand that this comes with a very fascinating story, doesn't it?
The war broke out. We were in the Far East, and they had to abandon their house. And unknown to us, our native servants took very good care of it. And actually, years later, we were presented with all this lovely stuff.
That's very touching. And I think we're looking at selling it as a job lot, really, because we have to advertise it as white metal. It's not sterling silver.
No.
It's a lower grade silver, but the detail on some of the pieces is really very good.
Yeah.
So the items that Perry has singled out from Elsha's hoard that could sell well at auction are the antique batik printing blocks valued at 40 to 60 pounds. The 19th century work table with barley twist legs may need a bit of work, but it's still valued at up to £300. And that tantalus, it could tantalise the auction taste buds, valued at 80 to 120. The painting by American artist Sue Wall also has a similar estimate. And the silverware with that incredible history worth £200 to £300. Our expert was also taken by a Victorian claret jug and glass set. Together, they're valued at £80 to £120. There was also a brass Middle Eastern charcoal burner for £60 to £80. If everything sold at auction for top prices, more than £1,000 could be raised. Perry was also taken by an Indonesian wood carving. So I've sent them off to meet an expert in Southeast Asian art, Jonathan Tucker. He's run the Asian Art Gallery in London for over a decade.
So, Jonathan, what can you tell us about it?
This is part of a long tradition in Indonesia. There's enough information on the panel there to tell us who carved it and when. It was certainly carved in Jatilawang in 1976 by Srihadi Sucipto, and it's teak, obviously, you know that. And it's beautiful quality. It's wonderful. These pieces are carved in relief, and so what you have is a solid piece of wood, and they cut the background to either side so the figures emerge from the wood. And this is a depiction of the Ramayana, the Hindu epic, and it tells the story of Rama, who is an incarnation of the Hindu god Vishnu, and Sita, his wife Sita.
Indonesia is well known for its arts, including paintings, wood carvings, jewellery, leatherware, fabric and bamboo. The town of Jepara in central Java, the archipelago's main island, is best known for its teak woodwork. This is a carving of a Hindu epic. Most of Indonesia practiced Hinduism before converting to Islam.
This one's of exceptional quality. It's not very old, it's about 40 years old, but I would say that it's worth between £1,500 and £1,800.
Wow, what do you think of that? That's a surprise, isn't it?
It is, definitely, yes.
So is that how much you're prepared to pay for it today?
Unfortunately not. It's not really something that I deal in. It's very contemporary, this piece, and I generally do much more ancient sculptures.
Shame she's had no luck with Jonathan, but what an incredible valuation.
Well, this estimate was given today is a lot more than I thought I could get for it. I'm absolutely adamant that it had to go. And sometimes I should miss it, but we'll just have to look at photographs.
It's now auction time for Elsha. From a painting to silver, brass and glassware, there's a lot to choose from for the bidders. But will they bite?
How are you feeling about everything?
Well, I'm feeling.
You feeling sad or
No,
good?
I'm just intrigued. I'm not familiar with auctions.
Have you put reserves on anything?
I have. I have one painting, for instance. I have been in touch with the gallery.
Okay.
Who sell a lot of her stuff, and they've given me some guidelines. She said, don't let it go for less than 600 to 700, she said.
Okay. Given it's an American artist and you've put a reserve of 600 on it, it's
I'm
likely
prepared
that it might not sell.
That's right.
But if it doesn't, you've got a way of getting it to America, have you?
Yes, I'll find a way to get it there.
I wish you all the best anyway, Elsha, whatever the outcome is.
We'll see.
And hopefully the bug will set in and she'll get rid of some more items.
That would be good.
Before the bidders do the bidding, we get some last-minute insight from auctioneer Daniel Webster on Elsha's lots.
She's got a nice mixture of things, good varied group of items. She's a collection of silver. The trade and private people will be interested in that one. A claret jug and a tantalus, both things should appeal to people, always popular. I think, unfortunately, the painting, they've raised the reserve to 600, which unfortunately I think is a little high. May struggle to sell, but we'll see how they do.
You're looking nervous. Are you feeling nervous? Feeling a bit sick?
First up, the 19th century work table with barley twist legs, estimated at up to £300. Elsha's put on a reserve of 150.
100's bid, 10, 20, on 30, on 40, on 50.
Right, it's past its reserve. It's past its reserve.
150.
Okay, it's gone. Is that okay? Good for you.
It went for the reserve price, and it's a start to getting rid. Now the Victorian claret jug and glass set, valued at up to £120.
At £40 and 5.50, 5.60.
£60?
5.70.
£70?
75 in the room at £75. Are we all sure then at 75?
£75.
No reserve means it went for £75. 2 down now. Next, the silver collection. 200 to 300, Perry put the estimate at.
Time for the silver now.
I know.
The biggie, the biggie.
220, 240, 260, 280, 300. 300 we're in the ring.
Go on, go up a bit.
£300 we all done. For 300.
How's your tummy? I feel in a state, I don't know how you're feeling. Too about the silver.
Again, a result for Elsha, making its reserve of £300. Time for the Victorian Tantalus, with an estimate of £80 to £120.
45, 50 got, 50 with me, internet, 60 comes next. At £50 it's with me.
We need to make more than 50.
At £55, 60 internet, and then
£60.
60, fair walk, 70.
Wow.
5.
Not going. Yeah.
Yes or no internet, 80.
Well done.
480.
Sold for £80. Elsha didn't manage to sell the Middle Eastern charcoal burner, and the batik printing blocks only managed £10. So, what of the final lot, the Sue wall painting with that high reserve?
We have interest at 150, but it's not enough. 60, 70, 80 now. 180. At 180 are we done? For 180, we're all sure then 180. Not quite enough.
Not sold. So you're offered 180, but it's not enough.
I'm not surprised, unsold today. She may have better luck in the United States.
So, Elsha, how was that for you?
Well, I'm glad it's over.
Are you?
Yeah.
Were you nervous
I was
beforehand?
a bit tense. The silver,
Yes.
well, I put a reserve on it, you know.
And it just hit the reserve,
Only
didn't it?
just, yes.
Only just, yeah.
But that's how it goes. There's nothing one can do about it. It was there, it was to be sold, so it's sold. I'm not going to cry over it.
Okay.
I was quite pleased. I was pleased that everything went for the asking price.
Yes.
Whether it be the lower end or sort of higher, because I think you would have been a bit upset had they have not gone sort of to the higher prices. But I think it's a good move, and hopefully a few more things will go to auction now.
In the end, Elsha sold 5 out of the 7 lots she put up. That's pretty good, with a healthy profit of £554 after commission.
All in all, how's the Storage Hoarders experience been for you?
It's been fun. It was very stressful at times, you know, and I was shattered.
Yes.
Shattered,
Yes.
you know.
But you're glad you've done it?
Yes, yes, yes. This has made the start, and yes, I'm glad.
Are you proud of how Elsha's dealt with everything?
I am, because even though she's a really strong person and a colourful person, the emotional side is more
massive
than what any of us anticipated, I think.
Yes, yes.
So I think she's done really, really well.
Yeah.
Elsha still has storage to clear, but she's got rid of a good amount. The painting is going to a friend in America who will take it to a dealer over there. And Elsha plans to drive to the Netherlands with her carving, where she hears there's a market for it. Coming up, what's on the cards for Jackie?
Do you think my cards have any value at all or not?
And at auction, will the garage hoard tempt the bidders?
What paper lunch?
Earlier on Storage Hoarders, Elsha Jones and close friend Tracy made a tidy sum at auction and managed to clear some of her unit. I hope we're going to have similar luck with Jackie and husband Stephen. Their garage-based hoard, mostly business mixed with home clutter, has been difficult to sort. Hopefully, collectibles and antiques expert Tracy Martin can convert some trash into cash.
So amongst all your items, I have managed to unearth a few little treasures. So these perfume bottles were in a box with many others. Jackie, where did they come from?
My sister had a big collection, and some were beautiful with silver lids and you know, cut glass, and they were really beautiful. And I had a few given to me.
The three of them haven't got huge monetary value, but they are nice little pieces for a collector.
Yes.
So if you're happy, I'd just like to put those into auction for about £30 to £50.
Right.
Now, we've also got a really interesting collection here. So these, as you know, are mourning brooches.
Yes, yeah.
When you say mourning, is that with a U?
It is.
I've never heard of those before.
Oh, have you
What's
not?
that?
Very, very popular in the Victorian era. And basically, they're a memorial to the deceased of a loved one. So basically, a lady would wear her mourning brooch, but in the back, she would put a lock of hair for the person that she lost. Now, Jackie, tell me, where did these mourning brooches come from?
Well, from my mother's side, and it's either great-granny or great-great-granny, I think.
This particular one, this is a base metal case. It's not gold.
Right.
Inset with seed pearls, but this star is most probably 9-carat gold. But we're sort of talking 40 to 60, really, for the collection.
Really?
I'm keeping that low
Yes.
in the hope that would encourage bidding.
Right.
And they will go a little bit higher,
Right.
to be honest.
OK, yeah.
Moving on, your stamp collection. Every child collected stamps, didn't they?
Well, no, it wasn't something that, you know, I had a real passion for. It was just that my grandmother ran a little post office for a while. So she thought it might be nice to send them to me when I was at boarding school. So, yeah, it was really quite sweet.
Stamps are quite a specialist area. Stamps, coins, things like that.
Yeah.
They do, however, ring alarm bells with me for a few reasons. First of all, they're all stuck down.
Right.
And stamp collectors want their stamps in the sleeves and to be quite pristine.
Right.
Secondly, a lot of them are postmarked. And thirdly, there are a lot of them, but there's none that particularly jump out at me.
Tracy singled out 3 items. The stamps were valued by a specialist in this field at £50 to £100. She also took a fancy to the 3 perfume bottles valued at £30 to £50. And those 3 Victorian mourning brooches with gold star and seed pearls estimated at £40 to £60. For Tracy, though, it was the Victorian Valentine's cards collected by Jackie's father that caught her eye.
I think we should take these to a specialist. They can then have a look at them and advise you more on their value and maybe add to the information that I've given you.
I've sent Jackie off to meet Valerie Harris, chairman of the Ephemera Society. Established nearly 40 years ago, it's an internationally recognised authority on cards, leaflets and posters.
So when did you start collecting?
My father was an antique dealer. He was a dentist, but he was an antique dealer, and he dealt in all sorts of different things. And I got the bag of Valentine cards. It's just a case of seeing which ones are, you know, good and which ones are not so good.
That's an interesting one, because this is, in a way, a Valentine, but also a memento, because this is from Scarborough.
Yes.
He bought that as a souvenir to take back.
Wonderful.
So it isn't actually a Valentine.
Yes.
So inside might have been a little print of Scarborough. And that one is around about 1860, maybe a little bit earlier.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah.
Printed Valentine's cards first appeared in the 18th century. They were simple sheets of paper with a written verse. It was not long before the symbols we know today began to appear: hearts, flowers and cupids. In the 19th century, the sending of cards rapidly increased because better printing techniques and a regular postal service made the process more affordable.
So this one I thought was quite interesting. It's a bit different. I don't know if it was stuck to a card.
No, this is actually complete.
Okay.
And you opened it up.
Oh, that's lovely.
So that would have been a really nice one if it hadn't been quite so damaged. It's so sad. Condition of any form of Valentine is very, very important. And looking at these, sadly, they've been mistreated. And financially, it's not worth restoring them.
Do you think my cards have any value at all or not?
Sadly, no, they're not really worth any great deal of money because they're too damaged. A few pounds. There's one or two, yes, but very little money. They could be worth about £4 or £5 each. But it is the condition.
Yes, that's the thing, isn't it?
That is the big problem.
It's a shame Jackie's cars didn't make the grade. She's weighing up whether to keep them for sentimental reasons or take them to an antiques fair.
Obviously, I'm a bit disappointed because, you know, they're in a bit of a state, and I probably realised that some of them were quite badly damaged, but I was probably hoping we might have been able to restore some of them in some way. Yeah, never mind.
It's time for us to get down to the auction house with Jackie. She has 3 items lined up as lots today. So how's she faring before the bidding?
Quite excited, not expecting too much though. Yeah.
Any reserves on anything?
Yes, I think on the stamps we've got £100. £100 on the brooches as well, yeah.
Have you got high hopes for anything in particular?
I would like to think that the stamps might go for a little bit more, but who knows? I'm not an expert.
Any plans for any money you might make today?
Yes, it's going to pay for the washing machine that broke down last week.
Oh, that's not very exciting, is
I know.
But practical.
Absolutely, yes.
Good luck. Fingers crossed for the new washing machine.
Thank you very much.
Money for the holiday went out the window then. Washing comes first. If she sold her 3 lots at the top end, Jackie could make a few £100s. But first, a word from the auctioneer on her lots.
She's got 3 groups of items in with us. I think the mourning brooches, they will do well, or certainly reach their reserve price. The collection of stamps, we've had an estimate of 50 to 100. Reserve's been raised to 100, which might be a bit sticky, but we'll see.
Well, Jackie's after a new washing machine, so I hope her lots have the bidders in a buying spin.
You ready for this?
Exciting.
Good luck.
Thank you.
First up at auction today, the 3 perfume bottles with an estimate of £30 to £50 and no reserve.
£20 for them. 20 somewhere, 10 if you like, 10's bid, 15, 20, 5, 25 now. At £25, are we all sure? At 25, are we all done then at 25?
Okay, 25, right.
It's a bit odd, isn't it?
Pay for lunch.
They didn't make the estimate, but at least they've sold for £25. Next under the hammer, the 3 Victorian mourning brooches. The auction house raised the estimate to between £100 and £140. Jackie's put a reserve of £100 on, below which she's not willing to go.
Oh, here we are, the brooches.
And £60 for them, 60's bid, 5.
Hang on, there's a bit of something going on. What's going on? What's going on?
80, 5, 90, 5.
95. Come on.
100.
Oh, good. So you've hit your reserve. You've hit your reserve.
At £100, we all sure now for 100. Sure indeed.
Exciting.
I'm so pleased for Jackie. The brooches sold at the last minute for the reserve of £100. Last up, the stamp collection valued at up to £100. Jackie's also put a reserve at the high end at £100. Will she sell?
And £50 for them. £50 somewhere, 50's bid, 5, 60, 5, 65 now.
65. It's very slow, isn't it?
At 65, we all done for 65. Away, unsold, not quite enough.
Disappointed.
Sadly not sold. That reserve price scuppered the sale. 2 lots sold at auction today. It's a start for Jackie. So, what did she think of the experience?
It just went in a flash. Yeah,
Yes, of
completely
course.
sort of like, oh, is that it?
Any surprises for you?
No, I mean, I was really pleased about the brooches. That was good because I just felt because it was a family sort of heirloom or whatever that it would have been sad if they'd not reached the reserve.
Yes.
So yeah, that was good.
And the stamps, they didn't sell at all. Have you got a plan for the stamps?
Yeah, I've got a friend of a friend who I think, you know, knows his stuff.
Totted up, Jackie sold 2 items at auction. The brooches did best. Add it all up and minus the commission, there's a total of £112.
Not exactly winning the lottery, but more importantly, you created a load more space, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And that really was the main thing. You know, we would never have set aside the time to do what we did.
Yes.
So, yeah, really good.
Do you think there's any danger in that space being encroached upon again?
Well, we're just going to have to watch Stephen, I think.
Is that right? Would he blame you?
Probably.
Another satisfied storage sorter. Jackie's planning to see a stamp specialist and to take her cards to a fair. And her garage? Well, it's now pretty much cleared. Join me, Aggie Mackenzie, next time on Storage Hoarders.